Hi, I'm Aniki Nippon. Today I would like to discuss a video that I saw a while back. I'd say like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. I saw this video that was kind of quaint in my opinion because there's a lot of ambiguities in this video that don't really explain anything, but basically this person called Christopher Hitchens a quote-unquote godless Abrahamist. And I don't exactly know what that means, other than maybe he embraces, or maybe he doesn't embrace Abrahamic religions or whatever. But one of the comments left on the second video kind of made me think about where he might be coming from. There was a person that left him a comment saying, criticizing Sam Harris and Christopher Hitchens when it comes to quote-unquote lacking perspective when it comes to Eastern religion. And he replied, the person who made the video replied, point well taken, well said, thank you. And they got me thinking, I guess what they're trying to get at is that there's not a whole lot of criticism for Eastern religions. And, hold on a second, let me get this over here. I wanted to make this video specifically on criticizing Eastern religions, based on my experience. And I'll start with this. I used to be a Buddhist. I used to be a very devout, practicing Buddhist. And one of the things I thought about one day, and this is exactly why I don't practice Buddhism today. This is one of the reasons, but I mean, it kind of blossomed up after this experience. But one day I was meditating, and it kind of hit me like a brick. I thought to myself, does prayer actually work? I was like, that's irrelevant, I'm going to keep on doing it, right? But then I started thinking to myself, well, if it didn't work, then I am really wasting my time here on Earth. Wow, that's a profound thought. Because, I mean, if you go and do research, I mean, it swings both ways. Prayer works, prayer doesn't work, whatever. But, I mean, I wouldn't imagine you can pray for, like, a dinosaur to come back to life and actually make it happen. It takes some pretty extensive physical process, something like maybe in the movie Jurassic Park. And I don't think it would be because of the prayer that would happen. But my point is this. The other thing that I thought about, one of the evils of prayer is this. Number one, we pretty much know that it doesn't really work. And if it does, it doesn't work to the extent you want it to. And that's the kind of Christian way of saying, well, it doesn't work, but have faith and you will overcome everything. It's a great thing in that regard, so they say. But much in the same way, the Buddhists use prayer the same way. They try to say that they're doing it for quote-unquote enlightenment. Well, let me ask you guys this. Is enlightenment a attainable goal? And how do you know when you achieved it? The reason I ask this is because I think this is another more immoral preaching that not just Buddhism preaches, but other Eastern religions preach, as much as, Western ones do. Because if you define enlightenment as a certain thing, for example, accomplishment of a goal or something like that, I mean, it's pretty ambiguous as far as what that means. I mean, for one person it could mean getting a PhD or getting 20 years in a company or doing something beyond themselves that they normally think they couldn't do, but it was them doing it the whole time. I hope this makes sense. The point I'm getting at with the word enlightenment is it's an ambiguous word. It's like separate from the criticism that I guess Richard Dawkins was giving about Deepak Chopra, I have a lot more criticism on my end about people like Deepak Chopra and, who's the other guy that wrote The New Earth? The German guy? Well, anyways, I'll come up with his name later on, but the things he say throw you through a mind loop. It gets you thinking, oh wow, that's so true. But it's like, if you actually look at the context in which he's speaking, like he says things like God or your essential nature is not a thing. It's like, it's one of those mental tricks to get you to think, okay, get you to agree with them. For example, if you say a thought is not a thing, you are absolutely correct. And when you say it when you phrase it in the way that you say it in the sentence that I just gave you, it's very elusive. And it's like subconsciously you agree to what he's saying. It's a little cheap psychological parlor trick, if you will. It's not, it's more something that somebody would use in a political science setting. But what I'm saying is, just because somebody says that doesn't make it a moral or a good thing. And it doesn't mean it doesn't actually mean that that person's making sense when they say it. A couple of other things that I disagreed with Buddhism itself. You can't really call yourself a true practitioner of Buddhism until you become a monk or whatever. And there are a couple things that I wasn't personally a monk, but even if I were to, there are a couple of things that are very much in the same criticism of Christopher Hitchens and Sam Harris. Blind obedience to the master. Do as I say, not as I do. You know, there are very much, there are some stories where, you know, there are very angry Buddhist. This lady wrote a book on Tibetan Buddhism. I forget the title, but basically she had stuff tossed at her because she defied her master's belief. You know, just a very angry and violent monk. I'm not saying that all monks are like that. In my experience, at least, Buddhists have been very nice people. But don't take niceness for morality, and I think that's the point here. The other thing is, you know, when you become a monk, you have to give up everything. You basically become a socialist in a hierarchical system, almost like a caste system in a monastery. I'm not necessarily saying that socialism in itself is bad, but you can hardly call it socialist if there's or a complete system of socialism if it's not, if it's with somebody at top and somebody who you have to answer to. And I think that's like a short, brief summary of why I think Eastern religions aren't necessarily moral innately either. I mean, does yoga work? Does it make you more quote-unquote spiritual? How would you find the quote-unquote spirituality in it? You see what I'm saying? And that's why I think it's evil, because it's like a dog chasing its own tail. It's like he might bite it once or twice, but he won't be, you know, it's stupid to do something like that. Does that make any sense to everybody? Well, that's my criticism of the Eastern religions. I hope this makes sense to people. And I'm sorry I'm doing this on a whim, and it's something that I wanted to do. But I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe and enjoy. Thank you.